Alright, so this is happening in reverse. I just finished doing this draft video, and I realized when I went back to listen to the first part, after I finished the draft, that I actually didn't have any audio. So I am going to re-watch the draft and then add some audio to it. So this is kind of me in the future and in the past. So I'll talk about some of these picks as I'm going through it. This is, I'm trying to think, I've done a couple drafts at this point. This is like the first one that I've recorded, so I'm gonna look at these. Oh man, I think this format in general is pretty rewarding for attacking. So I usually end up drafting a lot more aggressive decks. Red-white is, I think the best one, the best draft choice you can have. I think it's one of the most easiest decks to get a consistent, like 2-1 quality deck, and I've been 3-0ing with the deck pretty consistently. Fortunately for me, I think it's more my wheelhouse, more my play style, so it's been rewarding me. I think blue-green and black-white, and blue-green merfolk, black-white vampires are like the consensus best decks. Some of the decks I'm particularly fond of, so I try not to play them as much. Oh man, we're still in the queue. Oh man. 7 out of 8, we are so close. There we go. Okay. We're going to take a look at these picks. And I think this is like one of those like, kind of slam dunk picks. I start off with a couple choices. You can either have Vona, Butcher of Megan, which is pretty good. I also have Charging Monster. Charging Monster with a beating. I think the card's really good as well. I end up opting for the Vona, as you'll see in a second. But there's a bunch of other decent cards in here. I think Chart of Course is pretty good. I've not had any success with Wily, Goblin, but I think it's a good card. So going through, and these are a lot of other cards that I think are fine. Vanquish Week is definitely the strongest one in the pack at this point. I think Tempest Quality is also very good. I just think you have to be playing it in the Merfolk deck to really get some value, or the blue-red deck. The blue-black deck is not a good Tempest Caller deck. And I don't really want to try to play some kind of like 3-color blue. And I know it's a deck you can play with the 3-mana guy. It's big to play like Pirate's Prize, and that's not too bad, but that's not a deck I really want to play too much. Here you get a couple choices. The cards that really stand out for me, Ruthless Knave. I actually like the Brazen Buccaneer. It's another card that's not particularly popular, but I do like that card. New Horizons, if you want to try to go into the Dinosaur deck. And Shipwreck Looter, I like a lot too. I think it's one of those cards that, like, it's not particularly overpowered, but I think it's fine. Check out Navigator's Ruin too. I think it's one of those cards that I haven't seen people play very much. It's not bad. 3 mana, you have to mill them for 4. And I think in the deck that the games go long enough where if you're attacking and want the 1/1 every turn, you can probably mill them. So that's something I like blue-black. I think that's a good card. But up here, I just take the Ruthless Knave, stay in black. This is a good sign. One thing I'm trying to stay in, I'm trying to make sure I play Vona, and if I want to play Vona, the only black-white deck is the Vampire deck. So getting the Bishop as a 4th pick is a good sign that the deck is at least open, at least from this half of the table. I should be getting cards. If I get cut in pack 2, that's okay, but I should get a decent amount of cards. I'm getting cards like the Bishop here. In the black-white deck, you can very easily drain for 5, 6, 7 damage. So getting access to a card like that, people willingly passing it to you is a good sign. This I think is a relatively easy pick. Legion Judgment is not particularly great. I think it's good to have access to 1 or 2 overall. Paladin the Bloodstained isn't the Vampire. I want to make sure I make it very clear that I am the Vampire deck in this draft. So I'm going to end up taking the Paladin here. Eventually, there we are. Okay, what else do we get here? I think we just take the Paladin again, I'm pretty sure. I literally just want as many cards with the word Vampire on them as humanly possible. The Skittering Heartstopper is also a worthwhile pick. Stuff I may be willing to take, but I'm not over the Paladin here. This is a pretty difficult pick. And this is the first 7th pick. So far we're doing pretty good on that draft, I think. It's a debate between Pirate's Cutlass and Scaring Heartstopper. They're both fine cards. I think the Skittering Heartstopper, I think it's more for our deck right now. And here I take the Mark of the Vampire. There's really nothing for us at this point, so I think it's just the best card. This pack is also kind of light for us. I believe I take the March of the Drowned, which is just a Race Dead. In our deck, we have no pirates. We have 1 pirate currently with the Ruthless Knave. So, a card we don't even particularly need, but it is at least a pirate. So, I mean, we could potentially draw up 1 too. So why not? Take the March there. It's better than everything else. Here, I think we just take the Encampment Keeper. It's really the only thing for us. Cobbled Links, that's fine. Same deal here. We're not taking the Sacrament. We take Duress, that's fine. The Night Seeker is also fine, but this deck already has a lot of 5-drops you'd want to play, so I'd rather have access to the Duress that I might play rather than the 5-drop I likely won't. And even right now, we already have 2 really premium 5-drops here, so taking something like the Sunrise Seeker is not particularly attractive. Alright, well here, there's really nothing for us. We can just take cards. We'll take Short Strike. Sure, why not? Oh, apparently debating it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Legion Judgment, that's fine. And this is definitely one of those cards that just comes back. People don't take it very highly, which I think is a mistake. I think the card's fine. Where it's like the black-white decks, you kind of feel silly sometimes. But it does kill a decent amount of things. The Dynasty deck can't particularly deal with it well. So this pack is very good for us. Call to the Feast. The card we kind of pick up first. I think it's literally made for our deck. The Paladin, the Queen's Agent I'm not a fan of. Skyblade is good. I think having a good amount of 2-drops is good here, but we just take the Call to the Feast. I'm also looking at the Vampire Zeal too. I do like that here, but this pack, I think I note Sky Terror. I actually really like I said before, I like the red-white deck, so I take Sky Terror basically every time I see it, but not here. We're already firmly in black-white, so I'm going to try to take something pretty decent. I take just the Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, and I'm a monster, so I'll take the foil instead of the non-foil, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the best card in the pack. And the Wild Growth Walker is fine. I won't say I do think Sky Terror is the best card here. And Dupe Root Warrior is very good in the Merfolk deck, but Fathom Fleet Cutthroat is definitely the card we should be taking here. Sailor Moon is also not terrible in the decks where it's good, like decent. The pirate decks and whatnot. This pack is not great for us. I think the best card probably the Emergent Growth or Deadeye Plunderers. I like Deadeye Plunderers personally. I played with it at US Nationals, and it was fine. The card is kind of vanilla, obviously. It's basically a Jungle Delver. So the 5-mana Jungle Delver usually starts out with a 4/4 or 5/5, but pay 4 get another one. So that's okay, and it happens to be a pirate, so it has synergy with like Cutlass and things like that if that's in your deck. But anyways, as for cards we can play, it's really Slash of Talons or Vampire Zeal, and I like having access to Vampire Zeal. I think it's a hard card to find. This pick I think is actually very difficult. So the first thing I'm kind of drawn to is the Inspiring Cleric. I think that card's just very good. But I also have the Rallying Roar, and I haven't actually tried this card yet. I played another draft where I had Inspiring Cleric, and the card is definitely above 4 placement. I think gaining 4 life brings a lot of braces in your favor. But I ended up taking the Rallying Roar. It's a card I just want to try at the very least. It's a combo trick. It definitely, when you're swarming out that far, having access to another 5 damage and being able to surprise them in combat really does a lot. The other thing I actually point out here too is the Legion Conquistador. Once again, that's one of those cards that you can get two or three of them, it really does pay dividends for you, but I don't take it here. Alright, this is pretty straightforward. It's just going to be the Skullduggery. This card, I mean, this pack's decent though. A lot of good cards here. I really like the Stormfleet Arsonist. So I think that's the best card in the pack. Outside of the wildly unfair Jade Guardian with one with the wind, but that's I think it's fine by itself. I mean, it's a 4-mana 2/2 that puts a 1/1 counter on something. Like, that's not overpowered. The hexproof is kind of good, but I apologize ahead of time. I'm going to say, I don't know what the name of Dive Down is, but I'm going to say it a million times wrong, so just prepare for that. I take the Blightkeeper in that last pack, just to have a 1-drop. I take my first 2-drop, the Skyblade of the Legion here. And here I take the Raptor Companion. Just at this point, I'm pretty light on 2-drops, so I think adding another 2-drop in here, at least giving me some semblance of a curve, can help me out a lot. And right now my curve isn't spectacular. I'm playing, at this point I'm still playing the Encampment Keeper, which I'm not a huge fan of. I think it's fine, but and I have no 3-drops outside of the Rootless Knave. A bunch of 4-drops. So the second Skyblade here is really good for us. I'm just helping fill up that curve. I think this format's really important to have, about having 2-drops, especially out of the aggressive decks. You having a Skyblade is very good if they have something like a Nest Invader, or there's another 2/1, the 2/1 that makes a treasure out of black, and the looter, Shipwreck Looter. So I think having access to X1s or X3s is really beneficial. I just take that card for the board. I'm not going to play it. This pack, I'm pretty sure this is a goof pick. I could be wrong. I really want the Spreading Rot. I don't know why I take it here. So I think the Spreading Rot, I think this is something people should consider, because I think when you get the sideboard cards, people don't care about them anymore. I'm watching myself in the previous video. I'm just talking about something and getting distracted. But having access to Spreading Rot is very important. What ends up allowing you to do, they have a lot of the flip cards that are in the lands, and the Maid of It is fine, but like Legion's Landing, I forget what the name of the actual flip version of it is a very hard card to beat. So if you don't have access to something like Spreading Rot, you literally can't destroy it out of black-white. So this pack is nuts. This is I think the point where I know people always say, oh, if I could just draft this pack and be done, I'd be done. It's like, yeah, this is it. If I could take Brasswood Contempt, Dustborn, Sky Marcher, Contra Killing, Bishop's Soldier, Raptor Companion, Slash of Talons, and Torrential Skull, I would take it. However, that's not an option, so we have to make a choice, like adults, unfortunately. So I'm gonna take Brasswood Contempt. This pack is just ridiculous. I would literally draft this and be done. I'd have no issues. But unfortunately, that's not how Magic works. So we have to take one card and leave the rest for the vultures. So we end up with Contempt, and I'm very happy with that. This pack ends up being pretty good for us too. We end up taking the Queen's Commission here, which helps fill out the respawn. This is one of the issues I had too. That's why I was greedy and wanted all those cards, because it's hard to fill out a curve. It really is. And one thing, the 2-drops and 3-drops are just so important. It's really easy to get overwhelmed in the early game by a bunch of 2 and 3 drops. A lot of the 1-drops end up putting on a lot of pressure. This is another difficult pick, and I'm overall pretty proud of what I did, assuming I did what I think I did here. So my debate, the Imperial Eldritch is, I think, the best card in the pack. My issue is I don't need it. I think having access to a 4-mana 3/3 flyer is actually really good in this format. The flyers are pretty small, so having access to something like that can definitely swing the races in your favor. However, I already have enough 4-drops, and I like all my 4-drops at this point. They're all solid cards. Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, I think, is the worst out of the 6, and that's still a really good card, so I don't really need to take that. At that point, what do I need to do? I need to fill out my curve. I can take the Conquistador, add another 3-drop, and that's let me potentially cover a Ruthless Knave, or I can play the Skyblade. Legion. It's kind of the debate. So do I take the Conquistador or the Skyblade? I end up taking the Skyblade. And one thing, this is mostly for mana curve reasons. And I'm getting rewarded here with another Conquistador, which I was happy about until I realized I had the option to get a Blood Crazed Paladin, which I end up taking because that card is pretty good. You know, every time you cast it, you usually do pretty well for yourself. So that'll pay dividends. I'll take the Skullduggery out of this pack. I'll take another Paladin. I am not a proud man. I don't really want more 4-drops, but like I'd rather take that than like I'm not taking Paragon 9, so another 4-drop and it should work for my deck. Flash of Talents it's fine here, but I think I'd rather take the Paladin over the Slash. I think I could be totally wrong. This happened in the past. I have done 3 matches already, so I might not even take the Flash of Talent. Batter's running well. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be the 3rd Paladin, which is good. And I think I make my deck a little more consistent. This pack has really nothing for us. I just take Field of Ruin. So at this point, our deck is actually it's coming out pretty well. We have 2 1-drops and 3 really solid interaction spells off 1 mana. And having the interaction spells are really important, especially when we have so many 2-drops and solid 2-drops at that. Right now we have 5 2-drops that I'm happy to play. Really 4. I'd rather not play the Blood Crazed Paladin on turn 2 if I can avoid it. But our 3-drops are also fine. I'd really want to get another Conquistador. The second one makes the first one a lot better. And once again, we get rewarded pretty quickly here. So we'll take this second Conquistador. I can once again see an argument for taking Blightkeeper. Dreadnought is also very good, but I don't think we need the 5-drops. Indeed, Mystify for the board, but I'm not taking sideboard cards at this point, so we'll take the Conquistador out of this pack. Okay, this is another kind of decision point here. So I could take the 2nd Raptor, or I could take the Slash of Talons. Slash of Talons I think is just better for our deck. Once again, I think having access to 1 mana interaction helps a lot. The deck can be very mana intensive, and having cheap interaction that's effective is really useful. This pack is nothing for us. We'll take the Lyle, doesn't matter. This pack also has nothing for us. We'll take the Keeper, and theoretically could play it. I have seen like the black-white decks that try to swarm with things like Keeper, and then being able to give your team +2/+2 when you have your team is different. 7 guys is pretty good. It's not a terrible top deck if you're in a board stall. Yeah, and this is what I think I said this a little earlier. Having access to a spreading route, I think is very important. If you watched the World Championship a couple weeks ago, Hugh Jensen actually boarded in a Demolish to kill one of the land. I think it was the Legion landing, or once that flipped. So, all right. Well, this ends up being our deck. And this is pretty solid. The big debate here, I have 27 cards to start with. Start off by cutting the Fathom Fleet Cutthroat. I think it is a very good card. I just don't think you need it in this deck. I also took the Ruthless Knave, also a very fine card. I think it's better in the blue-black decks than it is in this one. And that gives me one more cut I need to make. I think it's actually kind of difficult. I end up initially cutting the Skyblade. I think having access to a 3/1 is a good effect to have. I end up rescinding that and cutting the Raptor, and I think that's right. I think the 3/1 is very good at trading. I don't necessarily want to trade. I think if the game lasts a little longer, then my odds of winning go up significantly. So I end up just taking the 1/3, playing the 1/3 instead of the 3/1. If I play an aggressive matchup, or if it's like the green decks, having a 2-mana 3 power creature is gonna be useful. It trades with things like Thrash of Raptors. It trades with things, even like their 2/2s a little more effectively. I'd rather have that from having to fight against like the creature with 5 breathing. I forget what that card is called, but The mana consideration, the moto suggests 8 and 8, and that's kind of what I was debating anyway. I think that's about right. I definitely want access to 1 mana interaction spells, which my 1 mana creatures end up being black. My 2 mana creatures end up being white, and then I get into white. I also want to have access to double black later up the curve, so I think having that number is about right there. Alright, well, this is about it. So, you guys will see how well my draft goes, which is funny, knowing the result already. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But, alright, cool. Well, this is Billy. I'll see you guys in act number 1.